To the illustrious CMS Hard Charge Reward.
What you got look at that?
Hello and welcome to Formula First TV, sponsored by CMS Limited for exclusive coverage of the High Components New Zealand Formula First Championship. And we're at round 5 at Manfeild Circuit de Amon, and where we're looking to start the second half of the championship. And as always, I've got our local Formula First expert, Jonathan Morton. Jonathan, with half the season done, we've got half the season to go. What are we sort of expecting this weekend?
I think really more of the same. We've got the usual suspects will be up the front, and the usual suspects just behind trying to be up the front.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like it's going to be another close-fought battle up the front, though. We've just had qualifying, and only 7 tenths covering the top 3 cars. Sorry, 7 100ths covering the top 3 cars. Yeah,
the top 3 of Reece Hendl-Cox, who put it on pole once again. He's starting to make a habit of this lately. Closely followed by Billy Fraser, who's been on top form after his race win at the last round. And Brody McConkey, he'd probably be ruined missing the first round of the championship because since he's been back, he's been in top form.
It's really good to see the turn of speed from Brody, but one real good thing this weekend is Chris Symon. He's back on the pace.
Yeah, he was just behind them in fourth and only a couple of tenths off the pace. So it's good to see him back, and he's now got to charge through the last half of the season and try and rebuild his championship hope.
So we're really looking forward to an exciting race now, because the top 6 cars were covered by only half a second, Jonathan. And here is our pole position winner, Reece Hendl-Cox.
Yeah, pretty interesting. A lot of cars that sort of just stopped in the straights again. But managed to get one lap in, so that was enough just to put it on pole. Hopefully get off the line and see how it goes from there.
And race 13 of the championship here at Manfeild Circuit de Amon under relatively sunny skies was another classic Formula First battle. And Jonathan, really it was nice and clean and tidy race.
Yeah, it was good to see the guys at the front battling 2 wide through Splash, which we don't often see, and down through to the hairpin. So it was good that we had another clean Formula First race. Yeah,
so the front bunch sort of scarpered away from the rest of them, and ended up being a 6-car battle.
Yeah, it wasn't a full-on battle, but they were all in there jostling for positions, and it was quite a straightforward race, I think, at the front for Brody, who'd led most of the way, but everyone was certainly nipping at his heels the entire race. And
of course, true to form, everyone really didn't make any gains until that last sort of couple of laps.
Yeah, they sat very stationary, but they were all sort of just working out their way to make the crucial last lap move.
And of course, in the end, it was Brody McConkey who took the win from Billy Fraser and Reece Hendl-Cox.
Yeah, Brody certainly used his speed through the infield. The car was very fast through there, and he managed to gap them by the time he got out of the hairpin. And while they closed down on him coming to the last turn, it wasn't quite enough to get the move done.
He certainly was a bit of the Pied Piper, and of course there was battles all the way through the field.
Yeah, just as we see every time, the guys get into battle groups of 2, 3, 4 cars at times, and they just battle it out to the end.
Yeah, so really good to see, and our race 13 winner, unlucky for some, but not for our man, Brody McConkey.
It was a good race. We managed to we got a pretty average start, but managed to get the lead early, and we seemed to be the quickest car on the track, so we just made sure we had the gap all the time onto the back straight, and we managed to come home in first.
And so here we are on Sunday morning at Manfeild Circuit de Amon, and overnight developments, Jonathan. The association had another barbecue. Another great event that the association puts on. All the drivers and teams went out to Raukau International Raceway for some RC racing last night, and to be fair, the drivers aren't any good at that either, but hopefully they're a bit better here today. And this morning everyone really pretty much looked at the sky, Jonathan.
Yeah, we all rocked up, and she was overcast and threatening, and then she bucketed down, and a few people like Jim Fraser, he made his call early, he put on wets, but he had to later go back to dries as it dried out just before the race. And
I noticed you just stuck with the wets, yet the rest of your team went stuck with your dries, and the rest of the team went to wets.
Yeah, there was a bit of a fierce debate between Dennis Martin and myself about that, and I think I got the call right in the end.
Yes, a bit of unpredictability up the pit lane, but in the end it was a very predictable, classic Formula First race.
Yeah, the field split up, the front 6 got away, raced it out to the end, and the next 6 battled it out as well, and then a few more down the back. Set out for a ding-dong battle the whole way.
Yeah, it was really good to see. So we had the fast 6 at the front who've been there all weekend, really. But then we had Ron Carter and Amy Smith with our Speed Sport Scholarship winner, Rona Murphy, in the second group. And they were battling just like it was for the win.
Yeah, that was probably a more intense battle, I thought. And that's what I had my eyes on. And young Louis Redshaw too. He was back after a few gearbox from something, and he was right up the back. And I thought he was going to sneak through for a top 10 then.
Yeah, it was very, very close racing back there, and obviously up the front we had 4 wide with those lot, and it was really good to see at the end that even though Brody McConkey got away a little bit, they actually reeled him in and had a close finish.
Yeah, Brody this weekend out of Turn 1 Toyota, he's been sensational. He pulls 5, 6, 7 car lengths, and it takes him all the way to the back straight to finally get it closed back up, and it's not normally enough to finally get it in front of him. So he's been able to lead relatively comfortably most of the time. Yeah.
He did send them down the outside, down the back straight there, and he managed to hold on for the win, and here is our race 14 winner, Brody McConkey.
Yeah, we got a bit of wheel spin off the start. Reece bogged down or spun up the wheels in front of us, so managed to get him off the start and went round the outside of Chris. And I knew I was quicker than Billy, so I just tried to clear him as fast as I could. And then, yeah, it was just much the same in the first race. Good times, but I think we're starting off, P5 for the next race, so I have my work cut out for me.
And so race 15 of the championship here Sunday afternoon, and with everyone in the morning looking at the skies, the afternoon meant we just had to look outside because it absolutely humped down with rain. And Jonathan, we weren't really sure what to expect with this rain.
Yeah, being the first wet race of the season, so it was always going to sort of throw the cat amongst the pigeons, so to speak, and see who could adapt and get out front.
And with a bit of a different looking grid, we had Liam Foster on pole, so all the pressure was really on him to perform.
Yeah, and he was closely followed by, Chris Symon, our former championship leader, and we always knew he went good on the wet, so we're certainly looking from a strong performance from him, and he didn't disappoint.
Yeah, he got an absolute ripper of a start, and Chris Symon led them into turn 1. And well, that was it. He was gone. He was absolutely just destroyed them in the race. But everywhere else, well, it went off.
Yeah, it's certainly a crucial race at a crucial part of the championship for Chris Symon. He's able to finally stop the rot to Reece Hendl-Cox. It's the first time since all the way back in race 5 that he's actually finished ahead. So that's got his championship back on track, and I'm sure he'll be just praying for rain for the rest of the way home. Yeah,
it's great to see that the championship is now closed up, and it's about a 70-point gap back to Chris Symon. So that's only a race win and a DNF away from being even. But throughout the field, we had Amy Smith that went off. We had Liam Foster drive through the pits because he was sort of forced to from a mistake. And it all went off throughout the whole field.
Yeah, and crucially was Reece Hendl-Cox, our championship leader. He came round out of Toyota on about lap 2 or 3 and just suddenly slowed. Car got going again, picked up pace, passed a couple of cars, slowed again, and he, at the end, just crawled across the finish line pretty much a lap down after Chris actually passed him on his cool-down lap.
Yeah, it actually just about ground to a halt coming out of Go Media, so he was really lucky to finish the race and score those crucial championship points.
Yeah, well, they're going to be 20 very important points coming into the season, and it wasn't the only incident on the old cool-down lap. Yeah,
so cool-down lap, usually where we relax and think about what's happened, but, well, this round the drinks are on Thomas Boniface. He managed to stick it into the sand trap, although it was a mechanical failure, but we'll still give him a bit of a rip for that.
Or his old man, he's already going to pay anyway, so...
Yeah, so anyway, our race 15 winner of the Haiku Components New Zealand Formula First Championship, Chris Symon.
Yeah, got a pretty good start off the line and sort of had a clear gap into 1, so I was able to just pace myself through there, and then from there drive my own race. It was pretty special to be that far in front in a wet race where it sort of equalises, and sort of showed that our dry pace and being a bit down is really costing us, but we're still driving well. So with rest of the championship to go, we're still in it, but we're going to need to do some work between rounds.
And now to the illustrious Hard Charger Award for round 5 of the Haiku Components New Zealand Formula First Championship. And Jonathan, we've got a new winner of it.
Yeah, the young man who actually just timely walked behind me, young Kyan Davey. Finally got the gearbox problem sorted, and he really showed his speedway experience in that wet and was able to drive through from back of the grid, and he finished a solid 5th place, I believe, sorry.
Yeah, it's a pretty crap weekend at the start. They put the gearbox in, they put the gearbox out, they put the gearbox in, they shook it all about, and it still didn't work. So they rebuilt it overnight and rewarded with a 5th place in that last race. That's a really top effort from them. And now the Sunset Award, the oldies, Ron Carter still dominating that championship.
Yeah, he's had another solid weekend, fighting in sort of that 6th, 7th, 8th place all weekend. So he's extended his lead, and I think he'll be looking to wrap it up in a round or 2.
Yeah, he definitely will be. And the rookie battle, still close as ever.
Yeah, they sort of closed it back up and opened it up a little bit towards the end with Thomas Boniface's second place finish in that race. So he'll take probably about a 40-point lead with 3 rounds to go over a Speed Sport Scholarship winner Ronan Murphy.
Yeah, so you'll have to pick up your game with your car there, mate. And obviously the championship, well, it's taken a big chunk of that last race.
Yeah, Reece has had a bit of an off weekend, obviously the last race, but you know, Brody sort of stepped it up and he hasn't been able to keep up. So he'll be looking to just regroup now because, as you say, Chris Symon, Billy Fraser, they're all charging hard behind.
And of course, we've got to remember those 2 Taupo rounds. Chris Symon will be hoping to go just as well as he did recently in last year's season to perhaps wrap up a title. Who knows? But still a long way to go.
Yeah, sort of Taupo's probably the joker in the pack at this stage. The fact that we haven't been there, and it's clearly the most technical track for our guys, and a lot of the young rookies will probably take a bit to get used to. So that's going to be the big unknown in the last 2 rounds of the championship.
Thank you, Jonathan, again this weekend for all your expert thoughts and comments. And don't forget to join us in 2 weeks' time as we go up north to Hampton Downs in round 6 of the Haiku Components New Zealand Formula First Championship.